Welcome to She Can and She Will. My name is Mary Ann Brown, also known as the Country Mompreneur, and I'm joined by my co-host, Disa McAllister. We are moms, work from home experts, and queens at helping women take control of their lives and prosper in whatever their goals may be. In this show, you will learn from us and other women who kick butt in their lives how to be the best you can be. So sit back and get ready for some fun. Yay, we're back. Yay. It seems like it's been forever since we spoke. You and I both had amazingly busy weeks last week.
Oh, yeah. It's so good when that happens, right? At the same time.
Yeah. Yes. Traveling. So I traveled down into the Northern Virginia, DC area. Okay, usually now I'm called the country mompreneur for a reason. I am a country person. And I've gone to the city. I've been to the city. I lived in the city, but I always take the bus, take a cab, take an Uber, never drive. This time I was like, by the time I get to the airport and I might as well drive. Holy cow. There's like one spot where there's 7 lanes going in each direction. By the time I got to the hotel, I was hyperventilating. Like,
that's overwhelming.
A lot of traffic. Like, I know where you live is much busier, right?
Yeah, but we're they call it sprawl. So it's real spread out. There are places where there's a lot of lanes. And surprisingly, there's a lot of accidents on the highway. I don't know why that is, but yeah, like it can be overwhelming for sure. But thank goodness our city is just like, if there's a lot of lanes, there's just not a lot of buildings to make you feel trapped.
Right. Like it was just, it was a lot. So I went down there. I went down and did some events down in the DC area. It was fun. It was fun being down there. We went to Tyson's Corner, and I guess that's getting to be one of the biggest areas for like just commerce and stuff like that. We went to one place, I think it was called like Tyson's, I don't know, I don't want to say the name of it, Tyson's Corner. It's a big shopping area. And they had like Prada and Jimmy Choo. I didn't buy anything. But I looked at everything. Yeah. I love seeing all the name brand, fancy, glittery things that I certainly can't afford, but really think are pretty.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I like to look at those places, but
yes.
Yeah, from the window. Yeah.
All the Sex in the City kind of places that she used to go at. So where is it that you went?
So I went back to Las Vegas, totally different trip this time. So less convention and definitely more shows. So it was more of a.
Tell me the shows you went and saw.
So we saw O and Love, which is a Beatles kind of tribute. And it was just the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It was so good. And then O was like, I'm really into symbolism. So every single thing, I was like, what does that mean? I'm just trying to put the story together in my head. And then afterwards, afterwards we just had to look it up. Like, what is all this stuff? Like, it was just whole journey of a boy becoming a man, kind of. And it was just what the human body can do is so amazing. And my body does not do any of that.
It's a Cirque du Soleil type thing, right? Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know what
one of those.
Yeah. We I had been to like little shows in Florida, right outside of Orlando. They have like Cirque du Soleil shows in MGM, but they're like 15 minutes, and they climb up these things and they fall down and catch themselves. It's anxiety ridden for me. I can't handle watching that. But this is more like a play. Like, it has storylines and
that's really cool.
Very entertaining. Yeah. Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah.
Very fun. Also, other fun things going on in my life. Like, I don't know if people have been following. I have a Country Mompreneur Facebook page, and on there I've been posting some. Our golden retriever had puppies that I think they're about 6 weeks old now. And the mom's a golden retriever, dad's a pug. So first visualize that in your head. And how that happened, I don't want to try to explain. But they're now at the age, 6 weeks is about the age where they want to wander around the whole house. Yes. Okay, nice. But they also don't quite get potty training yet. So I get to play the fun game of, I smell something. Where is that coming from? I hope I do not step in wherever.
Oh, no. That's when the baby gates come back out from the garage.
I know, that's what I was contemplating, because they also find where the cats go to the bathroom very interesting. So I'm like, how can I block that so the cats can still get to it and they can't get to so much that goes in. It's like having children all over again. What the heck?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Embrace it. You could be a grandma, I don't know, 10 to 20 years out.
Puppy grandma.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So today we're going to talk to people about the pluses and minuses of working from home. You and I have both been, I've been working from home for like 10 years now. How about you?
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, about as long. I think I took a trip back into the office for a few days a week, and I could not handle it. I just could not.
You're like why?
Like maybe
like
just get around people a little bit, but nope.
Yeah, now when I think about the whole having to go back into an office, I will do whatever I can not to. No.
But there's an adjustment period, right? Like, because the pluses, but there's also like, you don't even expect like all the negative things to come out, right?
Right. So let's kick off. I'll let you kick off with our very first plus. We'll do the pluses first, then we'll do the minus. Should we do the minuses first so that we end with a happier note?
Oh, I love that idea. Let's do that
first. Then we can end on a happier note because there's not a lot of minuses and they can be overcome. They're just something you have to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll start with my worst minus. This is the hustling to find work. And I have the hardest time closing. I'm not a closer. I just want it to be a conversation that we have with people and figure out where we can fit together. So that is my hardest minus, is the hustling to find work.
And some people, especially when COVID came on, some people, their jobs just put them to remote work. And so they've got that full-time job already. But if you're already working full-time and you're considering changing into working remotely, there is a whole process of trying to find those clients can be.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And you nailed that down, Mary Ann, the whole, like where to find them and how to get in front of them.
When I first started, I used the platform Upwork. I found that to be there's some pluses and minuses to Upwork too, which we could actually probably get into in another whole podcast, like just talking about the platforms you could dig into. But just using platforms like that, because a lot of people say use LinkedIn and find jobs on there. A lot of people apply to every job that's posted on there. It's so hard though.
It's very true. I think when you and I were really on Upwork, there wasn't as many people with our skill sets. At least that's what I found. It doesn't seem like I get many hits there these days, but you only need like one or two people to pay you really well and to get you, you rolling regular work, and you're set. Yeah.
A lot of the times, if you're working in an office, there's some in-office perks. Like everybody will bring lunch in, or I don't know, I can't think of some other in-office perks. Hanging around and socializing in the break room. That'll sort of clicks into your next one, is the whole hanging out and talking to people type situation. But yeah, there's perks to being in an office. That's for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. I would totally go along with that. And along that same line of like, people getting together and talking about birthdays and we're going to get cake and stuff like that, you can get very lonely. It's just kind of your team is on Zoom. If your laptop is closed, your work is closed, and there's no water cooler to talk around. The meetings that you have are more agenda driven. You're not socializing, and it's really not about like if there is like you get on a meeting early, you might talk about what you did the weekend, but it's different and it's public and it's possibly recorded. So it's not as deep.
Chat. Having that gossip, which could be sort of good because like you don't have the catty gossip of some things, but you also don't have the person that you hang out with and chit chat with at work. I tend to talk to my dogs a lot more than's probably normal for a normal human. And then so my next one is other people don't respect your time. And when we say that, we mean, okay, so you've moved to working from home. So now that people know you're working from home, they think they can just stop in and, you work from home. Let's hang out and have coffee. Let's go to lunch. And you're like, actually, I'm working. Just because I'm home doesn't mean I'm home. I'm actually working. And people don't respect that sometimes because they're not used to it. Yeah. Some people just don't understand especially being moms, they think, you're a stay-at-home mom. They don't consider the fact that you're actually working.
Yeah. Yeah, you really have to protect your time like that. I have really struggled with that as well. Another minus is the couch is like right there. And I used to, especially when the kids were like a little bit younger and maybe we weren't all sleeping on a regular schedule. But I would
Mm-hmm.
take a nap in the daytime and I justified it by like, okay, I'm going to be up late tonight to finish all this work. But it really interrupts your day. So having the couch right there is not necessarily a bonus. I had to safeguard my couch. I got the smallest, most uncomfortable couch I could find.
Smart. That is
Yeah.
smart. And then that ties into mine, which is needing to self-motivate. When you go into an office, and this is one of the things that when I talk to some people about what I do, and I say, I work from my home office, they say, oh, I could never do that. I have to go into an office to have that structure of I'm at work, I'm at home. And some people need to, in order to be able to do this, you have to be able to say, okay, these are my hours. I've got to get the work done. Otherwise, you will suddenly click on Real Housewives and lose 3 hours watching TV. So you have to keep yourself organized and motivated to move ahead. I mean, I'm driven by money. I can admit that. I like to make money, and so I will work my butt off to make that money. So you just have to find what's your motivation and push yourself that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other side of self-motivating is working in your house, you can see your undone chores. And if that's something that would bother you, you are compelled to get up and finish those chores so that you stop looking at them or thinking about them. So your self-motivation and drive needs to be really work focused during the work days. That's the only thing that's worked for me is like during this time and this time, I'm not moving from the computer. If it's not work, I'm not doing it right now. Yeah.
And I've actually allowed myself a little bit, say I'm working 9 to 5, those are my work hours, but I need to have some breaks. Otherwise, if you sit at your computer all day long, your back's going to kill you. I mean, even in your office. So I'll say, okay, every day around 11, I'll get up, throw some clothes in the laundry, just to use it as an excuse to like stretch your legs and stuff. But don't get yourself, also tied into, because I feel like I've got an adult onset ADD or something, because I'll start to do the laundry, then the next thing, oh, the dishes should get done. And I'm like doing 20 different things and didn't complete any of them. And I never used to do that. So it's probably better, just like you said, to not even do that, honestly. Okay, so let's move away from the negatives. We got them over and done with.
Yeah.
Now we'll talk about the positives, because this is why we love doing what we do.
Ooh, okay. So the number one thing that you hear people talking about is controlling your own schedule. Like you schedule your meetings, you can block off your calendar if you need to go to the dentist. You don't have to ask permission, that kind of stuff. Which I think is a huge plus. It can be a negative if you're not self-controlled, but yeah, this is like a major factor for.
This was a big selling point for me, for sure. And that goes into my next one with cutting the commute time. I would spend an hour each morning driving to and from, or an hour driving to, an hour driving home. So I cut that time, gave myself more time to work. And then I could better control my schedule, because I'm an early riser. So I'll get up at like 6 a.m. and start working. And then by the time it gets to be like 2 o'clock, I'm petering out and cutting out and doing my own thing. Whereas most jobs, you can't say, oh, I'm an early riser, I'm going to start working at 6 a.m. Your hours 9 to 5. That's what you got work. Yeah. So it is sort of nice that you can, or if I get a call and, oh, my son is sick, you can just run out and grab him and not have to request someone to recover for you or did a request time off. I like that.
I do like that as well. Yeah. And having like the ability to just reschedule when you need to, like that's a major plus. Yeah. So you spend less money on lunches out. So like if you're in an office and you want to go I do not like to pack my own lunch. I will occasionally if I'm like forced to, but if there's a cafe anywhere near where I'm working, I would much rather just they got fresher food. I don't have to make it. Cooking stresses me out. So I would spend quite a bit on lunches, even if it was just super basic, like a side salad that I was eating. But so you do get to save a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I've gotten in the habit of in the morning, because I make everyone in my house breakfast and lunch, because my son, he's got dairy allergies and stuff. And he's afraid of eating school lunch and getting a reaction of something. So
Understood.
I make him breakfast and lunch, my husband breakfast and lunch, me breakfast and lunch. So then I have that all done. So I don't have to during the day go and try to hunt and find something for lunch. It's all ready for me to grab. So
that's fascinating. Do you do that the night before, or do you do that on Sundays?
Well, because I'm a 6 a.m. morning person, I wake up like I don't know anyone else. I've done weekends where like I go hang out with my brother and his girlfriend. If nobody else wakes up, like I wake up and I'm like all excited and happy. I go to wake up, my son is like crabby. I'm like, but it's morning. It's gonna be a great day. Stop being happy around.
Yeah, that is, whoa. I don't know how my life would change if I was an early riser. That sounds amazing.
Just always been that. I grew up on a farm. That's all I can contribute it to because there's no other, I don't know why. That's my only reason I could think of. So my next one is no favoritism. And when I say that, it seems like most of the places that I've worked in the past, there's one or two people, it's never me, that's like the office favorite to the boss and gets special whatever. It's whether it's extra time off on their lunch or, gets to go and do the. I've never been, but I'm not really brown noser-ish type. So that's probably like I always thought maybe, but it's hard. I'm just not. I don't have it in me to be a brown noser. I get along with everyone great. I'm a goofball, but I just don't kiss butt, and thus never been on the giving end of somebody's favoritismness. And it's sort of annoying when you're in an office and working and there's one person that gets to take like a 2-hour lunch and everybody else taking a 1-hour lunch. And so, yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
I think that's because you are so good at getting things done. It's like, this is unnecessary. Like, I don't want to spend 2 hours making you feel better about your day. Yeah. Like all this other stuff needs to get done. Yeah. And those are the people who sometimes get rewarded or yes. Not getting things done, people.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So another huge bonus to this working from home is that you can live anywhere and you can work from anywhere that has Wi-Fi usually. So yeah, Mary Ann and I were just off last week and it was more like a vacation, but I could still work in the morning. I worked, in the morning and it was awesome. It was amazing. And I really like the ability to just get up and travel, which is travel in the middle of the night and you're there in the daytime and you can just kind of get your stuff done. So that, life, you want to be able to have like a routine and get into a schedule and get things going exactly the way that you planned it out. But life just happens. And sometimes you have to go in another place or out in the country or to another state. That happens to me actually a lot. But the ability to like just bring my phone and use it as a hotspot and work from wherever I need to be is inconvenient sometimes, but it's doable. Whereas if you were in an office, that would not necessarily be doable. Yeah.
And I know there's some people, I always thought it would be fun. I've got a family and stuff, so it's not an option now. But back in the day, I would have thought it would have been fun if I'd done this back when I was single and younger. There's people that are traveling, what are they? Traveling nomads or whatever. They work from anywhere. That's what they do is they travel and work and you're totally able to do that. You can just work from a camper and just travel the world. And
a few years ago, I think that was just like travel bloggers, but now it's like
everyone.
Yeah.
Like we could totally, if we didn't have the commitments of families and kids and everything, we could totally do what we do. I could do it anywhere. I have able to get more done. This is a plus, this is a minus, this can be both. So you can get a lot more done. There was a point when I first started doing this, I was working like 12-hour days because I was like, I can. So you can get so much more done if you want to. That's what you get. Christmas time, like the months leading up to Christmas, I put in mad hours and take on as much as I can because I want all that money so I can spend for Christmas. Then also like February's-ish and also in like July, you want to do stuff with your family, you can sort of peter out and do less. So
I think you and I were both kind of burning the candle at both ends when we first met. It was, I don't ever want to do that again. Yeah.
Family first.
Yeah. Manage what's coming in as well. Like manage those hours. Those are important. It's easy to pivot. That's another plus. So the focus that I've I've had or the work that I've done. And I know it's the same for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the work that you focus on or that you're pitching to new potential clients can pivot based on demand or based on your interest,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you want to get into a new area, you just go into a new area, But
Ooh, I like this one actually, because when I first started doing this, because I came from a news radio background and media marketing background, but it was marketing before it was social media.
yeah.
Like my education was pre-social media marketing. And then I sort of moved into social media, but I was working before I started doing this, I was working as an executive assistant for someone. So basically like a secretary. So when I first started doing this, I was just taking basic virtual assistant jobs because I didn't really know what I could do. And then I started looking around and seeing the other jobs. And really, I've self-taught myself 3/4 of what I know just by like watching YouTube videos and taking certification courses online.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what's really great about this is if you're like, you know what, I want to learn more about posting on Instagram and being a Instagram social media manager. Teach yourself how to do it. And then
there is something really magical about that VA niche, which is like it's so broad and based on like your client, like you start landing clients and based on what they're having you do, your interest might totally change. You might just be like, I only want to do social media. This is so much fun, But yeah, it's a great like what are those like core classes you have in college, right? Like you've got those and you've got electives, like VA is like an elective, like you just kind of figure it out.
Seems like every client you work for has you do something a little bit different, so then you learn a new skill to add to your abilities, which is really cool too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yay. All right, so this is great. We do have an awesome interview coming up on Thursday. I can't wait for you guys to hear. I'm so excited.
Who is it?
Can't tell. It's a secret.
Ooh, well, that's exciting.
It's gonna be fun. Okay, but so we want you guys make sure you subscribe to our podcast, whether you're joining us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook. We're a Country Mompreneur.
Podcast with your friends.
And any women you know that may want a little extra inspiration in their day.
Have the best day ever and stay in control.
Thank you for listening. For more information, join us at thepmagency.com.